joined Lightning Spikes 3 years ago. This is our third year with Lightning Spikes, and we originally joined Lightning Spikes honestly based off location. We know we went with the boys to run track, and we just kind of started Googling local track places. And coincidentally, we ran into you guys before you even knew we were looking down in Birmingham at a meet. We were down there visiting the family, and they had a meet there, and I recognized you guys from the church. That's what prompted us to originally start asking about Lightning Spikes, and it's kind of worked out for us.
We have been with the Lightning Spikes for 6 years, and we chose Lightning Spikes. Honestly, it was the first club that we heard about in our area. And after coming out and doing the off-season training and just the honesty of the coaches, because Cameron was not athletically inclined. I didn't believe she was. And I was told by the coaches to give it a chance and let them see where her skill would develop. And 6 years in, this is where we are.
We've been with the Lightning Spikes for 6 years, and we chose the Lightning Spikes because my kids have always been active, and we'd heard some good things about track training, and so I went online and Googled track training in the local area, and Lightning Spikes came up. Had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Cormer, and she said, come out and just check it out, and we did, and here we are 6 years later.
I just want to add to that we did also check out a few other track clubs, but when we did our direct comparison, we decided this was the place for us.
Okay, we've been with the Lightning Spikes Track Club since the fall of 2013, so this is our 5th campaign. We chose Lightning Spikes because I lived in the same community with Coach Tony, and noticed that one day I noticed a truck and it said Lightning Spikes, and I saw the running foot on it. So I crossed the street and I said, what's that? What's going on? And he said, well, it's a track club that I'm the president of, and Coach Trevor was there, and he introduced himself, and said, oh, that's interesting. I think my daughter is interested in track. She's been asking, but I don't want to commit the time. So I knew him, said if he's involved in it, I'd like to get more information. And at the time, they were preparing to go to Detroit, I think it was. And he said, come back and check us out in the fall for the off-season training. So I took a mental note and came around in the fall, spoke with Ms. Corman, super administrator, and it was a good feel. So we've been here since then, and we haven't left.
I think for me, what I like most about the Lightning Spikes program is consistency. A lot of times when you get into, at least from my experience, when you get into working with young adults and things happen, there's a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of coaches changes, a lot of changing in times of practices, and a lot of changes in processes. But again, there's a lot of consistency, a lot of things that you can rely on. You can rely on the coaches being here on time. You can rely on practices being on time. You can rely on fees being collected and things being paid on time. So for me, being the person in charge of the family, I love the consistency of the club and the I guess it puts me in a place of satisfaction when I know I can expect certain things and things will be as they are.
Lightning Spikes has benefited me the most by definitely developing me as an athlete in general, by getting me faster, going to Michigan, just taking these trips for just track meets and just training with other people who are up there with me and just getting me better as an athlete.
As a former athlete, I think that it's definitely encouraged me to continue to stay active and benefiting my health for sure. It provided the foundation for a lot of the things that I do now and my training programs now. So still having that encouragement from that development 7 years ago has helped me a lot.
Lightning Spikes has benefited me by definitely getting me faster because my 40 time really wasn't that fast before, but me working with Coach Trevor and all the other coaches at Lightning Spikes, they really took the time and just made me faster by doing just the ladder drill, just stretches and everything about that. It's all gonna benefit me in the long run because being an athlete, you need to be fast. You just can't be like everybody else, so you gotta be that one athlete that stands out.
My most memorable moments are like moments when I wasn't feeling like I could do it anymore and I was really tired, but my coaches kept pushing me to go on.
My most memorable lightning spikes experience was one day at practice. It was raining outside, and so everybody was kind of going inside, and we were throwing discus, and of course you can't throw discus inside, so we were like, oh gosh, what are we gonna do? Lo and behold, Coach Tony pulls out this contraption, and it's a net that has like balls, and we're like, and that's when I was like, he has really like dedicated his time, his money to this team, and that's when I was like, I can't do this. I can't just half do my job anymore. I have to really push for it and do things like that.
My favorite memory was competing in JOs in Detroit in long jump, where I placed 9th, if I remember correctly.
My most memorable Lightning Spikes experience was last year going to Jacksonville and winning the Region 4 championship in the 3000.
My most memorable was actually that race. Actually, what she described in Jacksonville from a different perspective. I saw an athlete that came off 2 weeks prior at the Georgia Association Championships, very frustrated because she didn't achieve what she wanted, and walked over, didn't want to say many words, and you could just see the frustration on her face. And she made a comment that said, "I'm tired of losing." And 2 weeks of preparation, and I saw a focused athlete that wanted something more. So I knew something special was coming up. It's the first time I saw that. There weren't any nerves. The preparation was amazing. She was focused before that 3,000 meter race, and she went in and ran with confidence, courage, and showed mastery at applying principles that brought her what she wanted. And that big kick at the end over the last 100 meters gave her a championship, something that she desired. She spoke it, and she owned it, and also set a club record. So it was nice to see it, and to see the members of the club that were there cheering, family. It was just amazing.
My greatest moment is when the coaches made everybody run the 800, and I was really good, so they put me in the 800 for the following seasons.
You've done well with it.
Yes, I have.
How well?
Very well.
Well, these are some of the medals I've won over the past 6 years at various track meets and various events.
We've been to Junior Olympics 4 out of her 6 years. She qualified every year, but we actually went to Junior Olympics 4 out of the 6 years. And this past year, she ranked in the top 6 in both of her events, which are shot put and discus.
Well, these medals all come from me placing first, second, or third in shot put, discus, and few in javelin. And I'm proud of these medals, but you know, I've learned over the years, Coach Tony's told me, he's like, you're good, we expect you to place first, second, or third, but that's not what it's about. It's about being your best. So while these medals do hold a valuable spot in my heart, it is about something a little more than the medals.
My medals are for me placing first, second, and third in my events, and most of them are from long jump because I did grow a lot in that area, and like Mia said, the medals are, I do enjoy getting them, but it is about beating my standards, beating my best.
We remain with the lightning spikes because the family atmosphere, but for me as a former athlete, I noticed that they had a process in place that they valued the athlete, the full athlete, more than just the results. And what that means is that my child, Jennifer, had an opportunity to grow as a person from the experience. Being a former track athlete, I know coaches spend a lot of time with runners, so I knew she was going to spend a lot of time with the coaches. So I was comfortable knowing that it wasn't just about first place, but it was about a process that grows the athlete for the long term, knowing that some may make it to college, some may go on to a professional career, most will go on to life. And what that means is that she's being prepared for life, and it hasn't disappointed over those 5 years.
Well, my memorable moment is this trophy right here. I got this trophy last year at a meet, and I got the runner of the meet and out of the whole meet, and I placed first in 5 events.
My greatest accomplishment in the Lightning Spikes track club is probably competing at the national level at the Junior Olympics and placing 5th in the 800 and 6th in the 400.
And where was that?
That was in Virginia.
My greatest accomplishment is going to the Junior Olympics last year, and I made a lot of PRs during the following season.
Did you PR the Junior Olympics?
Yes, I did. I PR'd twice in the 400 and 800. My experience starting, I was very nervous because it was my first year. I was nervous that I wouldn't be as good as the older people, but now that I am older and it's my 5th year coming, that I'm more excited and relaxed that I'll be making more PRs during the meets.
We've had the opportunity to compete in Jacksonville, Detroit, Florida, Disney, Orlando. I think we've been there like twice. I think we've been.
When I first started, I was really nervous because I hadn't competed in anything that long before. But as I kept competing, I realized that I'm good at this event, and I got stronger in my stamina and also my speed, and I kept placing really high in it. It helped. The 4 Ds of the Lightning Spikes are determination, dedication, discipline, and drive. They're important because they make sure that you always remember what you need to do to get better than you've already been.
I know for me, Lightning Spikes Track Club has exceeded my expectations. Like I said initially, when we thought it was just something he'll be a part of, and maybe he'll do it for 1 year and get out of it. But this is something that he seen growth in himself, and wanted to take part in it. And we, as a family, like I say, new to the area, we start to meet people, and it's just been great for us. I think for me, my greatest experiences with the club has been, our team meals when we go to trips out of town, when we all get together and meet, and we're just eating, and the kids are having a great time, socialize with one another, and as parents, we get to know one another, and parents that have moved away from the club, my wife is still friends with them, so just the family atmosphere.
I'd say, there's a lot of good track clubs out there, but you want to find somewhere that you're comfortable at. And Lightning Spikes was that for us, because we looked around, and I think the main thing was being around like-kind individuals. Like my wife said, it's kind of like a family environment, and don't have all the drama that you see at a lot of the other little track clubs or whatever. Like I said, there's plenty of good clubs around. Lightning Spikes is one of them. And it doesn't hurt that a lot of the folks there go to our church, so that was probably the what pushed it over for us.
If someone asked me about joining Lightning Spikes, I would highly recommend it. It's not just a program where it's about athletics. It's about education. It's about building character. It's about family. There have been numerous occasions where the Lightning Spikes have stepped in as our family, and when it didn't have anything to do with track, they've just stepped in as our family. The coaches, other members of the team, parents, kids, it's a family. And if you're looking for something that's more than just athletics, Lightning Spikes is the place to be.
If someone asked me about joining a track club, I would definitely, recommend the Lightning Spikes. And because I've had, going to track meets, you meet other parents of other track clubs, and you start hearing about, what their track club is doing, and then you kind of equate it to what you're doing, and they're just amazed at what we do. We don't ask for, and it's like, I'm a part of the club. We don't ask for inordinate fees. Our fees are reasonable, and we just get a lot out of it. And I think it's because of the people that operates the club. They do it in a manner where, it's not self-serving, that it's about the club. Everything is about the club. I mean, and, our coaches, they don't get paid. They don't ask for anything. I think one of the things for me, we have a coach that has a child with special needs, but that coach is consistent with practice and devotes as much time with our kids as they do with their kid with special needs. So to me, that just speaks volumes. So if anyone asks me about a club, if they're ready to be a part of a family, Lightning Spikes would be ready for the club.
I say if I was to recommend the Lightning Spikes Club, I would just let them know about the community atmosphere that's here. Because as you can see, the coaches, they'll do their best to help get you to practice on time. For instance, if you don't have a ride to practice one day and your parents can't help you, or you can't get a ride through a lift or something like that, the coaches will take the time out of their day to help pick you up from your house and take you to practice.
My thoughts on the Lightning Spikes coaching staff are, if I could sum it up, it's probably committed. As Nia mentioned, I have been impressed with Coach Tony, definitely from day one, but throughout those 6 years, just the things he's done for the girls, specifically in field events. A lot of times when people think about track, they think about, you know, the running, and that's definitely exciting and taking nothing away from it. And in all honesty, I wasn't really educated on the field events because I came to Lightning Spikes looking for running myself. So it was very, it was very eye-opening just to see the dedication that Coach Tony and several others had to field events. Malcolm is on the not long jumps, but Malcolm has done long jump, and Coach Kenny's commitment there. So I think commitment is the word that I would say.
My thoughts on the Lightning Spike coaches are first of all, the word I would use to describe it is love. There are some technicians as coaches who are very technical and they understand the movements associated with running. It's very scientific in their approach. But at the same time, dealing with track, you deal with injuries, you deal with attitudes, kids being tired and not being motivated on certain days. And the coaches have the ability to dig down into their wealth of experience and pull out something that gets the best out of the kids in all those situations. There have been times where, my son would be injured or hurt, and I'm not necessarily agreeing with the coaches about how to handle it, but it seems like they always make the right move. There's times where, I can tell afterwards that the right thing to do was to rest him, where I'm saying, no, get him back out there, let him go. But then there's also times where, he needs to push past it and the coaches are able to figure that out and do the right thing and get the best out of the kids. And I think that's the most important thing.
Well, as they quickly told me, you are a dad and enjoy the opportunity to sit here and watch coaches coach. And I like that approach where I feel comfortable with the coaches and all the activities that they put our kids through. The training that they get, you don't have to feel that, okay, I'm gonna add something to it because they get everything. Not only is it building up their body, but building up their mind. Building up their mind for the actual sport or the event that they're involved in, but life, right? I actually feel good coming to practice. My daughter runs out of the car. All I gotta do is find a parking spot and relax, because I know that what she's gonna get is full and complete.
I think that the training she's getting here will help her for many years. And just in this past year, she has been recognized, and people have, outside of at practice, at track meets, for the things that she's learned and developed here. The coaches are loving, they're strong, and they push the kids, but it's because they know them, they get to know them. Although there's a group of kids, I think the training is really individualized, and it's constantly changing. New techniques, scientific advances, nutrition. It's full body, full mind, and like my husband said, very comfortable in entrusting our child with the people that come here and give of their time and their effort free to put into our children and our community.
I think what stands out to me the most for Lightning Spikes is the family-like atmosphere that you guys present. Everyone is kind, everyone shares knowledge. Meet day, it's like It's like a family reunion. That's what stands out most to me.
Overall, the Lightning Spikes Track Club is an organization that is Christian-based, it is family-based, and the club focuses on the whole athlete. So it's a club that wants to win, want the athletes to win, but win the right way, and understanding that life principles are important in not only track and field, but success going forward. So my wife and I, we love that.
What are your thoughts on the Lightning Spikes?
The Lightning Spikes overall is not just worried about the results of the athlete, but worried about what's going on in the lives of the athletes also. It's very family oriented, and I like that a lot because I feel like I can talk to any of the coaches when I'm having a problem.
Overall, I think our thoughts on the Lightning Spikes Track Club, we've been very pleased. We came here when my daughter was 8 years old, and we've been here this is going on our 5th year. It's been like a family. We were interested in her learning about track and getting physically fit, and we've gotten so much more out of that. Christ-centered, family-focused. She's getting training that she will use for the rest of her life, not only on the track, but in life in general. And we've been more than pleased with what we've learned here and what she's learned here.
Same. I enjoy seeing her or the coaches put that effort into her, put that energy into her, and I enjoy her receiving it and giving it back.
I would tell them that, once again, we've been there 6 years. The coaches are committed. But it's an organization that really cares, as my husband said, about not only the athletic aspect of it, but also just the kids in general. And honestly, it feels like a family, and that's why we stayed. That's not why we came, but that's why we stayed. So that's what I would tell them.
Well, I would say in a heartbeat to join them, because not only will they advance you physically, but the lessons that they teach you, you can apply to school and life and things like that. So yeah, in a heartbeat, I would say join. You're definitely getting your money's worth.
I also would say to join because they do train you to be a better athlete, like Mia said. But they also, you'll have a lot of great experiences on the team, like I did.
So first of all, people do ask me all the time about the Lightning Spikes and about track, because they know Malcolm ran track and they know he is involved in the Lightning Spikes. And I do tell them the place to be is the Lightning Spikes. As parents, we have a decision to make all the time about who we allow around our children. And this family is it creates an environment where your kids are safe and they can put themselves out there in terms of in terms of their personalities. They can be themselves, and they're not going to be ridiculed. They're not going to be badgered. I coach football, and we know football has a reputation for the coaches being in your face and real loud and screaming and cursing and all that stuff. And the Lightning Spikes get very good. They get excellent results without having to go through all that. And so, I would allow the Lightning Spikes coaches and parents and everybody to be around my kids even when I'm not present. I don't have any worries whatsoever about this family taking care of our kids. So I definitely highly recommend the Lightning Spikes. And even when we're not, when these guys graduate past Lightning Spikes, we'll still be around supporting the Lightning Spikes.
And just one other thing that I should have mentioned early on. I would definitely tell them, and though we all know track is many hours of your time on Saturdays and Sundays, and I think I have never experience what the Lightning Spikes does in the summer heat. You know, they have fans, they keep us cool, they have refreshments for the kids, and you just can't beat that. So I totally appreciate that. I should have mentioned that earlier. So thanks.